Story 1. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be in my father's wedding even though I cheated too? A story as old as time. My 27 female father, 50, cheated on my mother for 5 years with a younger woman, currently 32. And he left my mother when mistress got pregnant. It tore our family apart. I resent my father because my mother actually loved him and she is still dealing with this. Even 1 year after he left, I stayed on okay terms with him because I was the one to pick up and drop off my younger brother at his place. Last week when I picked up my brother, my father had big news. He proposed to his girlfriend and wanted me as his best man. It made me kinda mad, not gonna lie, but I kept calm and told him no. He said that what happened between him and Mom was none of our business and that I should respect his new relationship. I said I respect it, but it doesn't mean I condone it. Obviously, I would never hound him randomly about it, but I don't approve of it, and I don't like her. She knew the whole time my mom and we existed. Well, my dad was having none of it, and told me to get off my high horse because I had cheated too, and I had no right. And I guess? When I was 17, I was with this boy for 3 months. I went to a party, got crap-faced, and made out with a classmate for a total of 10 minutes. I felt so bad that I called my boyfriend crying, and we talked it out. We broke up. I told my dad, and in 10 years, I never did something like that again. I have been with my partner for 5 years. I told him he could not equate it at all. He called me a hypocrite, and that he was glad to know who I am. Driving home, I felt like I was a bit harsh. He's still my father, and he is not a bad father. I just don't want to be at his wedding. I would still go, but am I the a-hole? No, I do not think that you're the a-hole. You are under no obligation to be the best woman at his wedding. Because, yeah, what he did was sleazy. Like, cheating for 5 years, I think it said, or whatever? And the whole time this other person knew about it, and it's only a year after divorcing the mom that he's now announcing this new wedding. I don't know. It feels rushed, and you're allowed to feel that way. You do not have to forgive him for every little thing or just be okay with him, be like, yeah, I'll be in that. No. And his trying to be like, well, you cheated too. There's a lot that's telling me that your dad is a pretty immature person in a number of ways and maybe needs to grow up a little bit because that does not hold water whatsoever. I'm sorry. Story 2. My husband wants a paternity test and I don't think we can recover from this. I'm sorry if this is rambling, but I don't even know what to think about this situation. Me, 32 female, and my husband, 34 male, have been together for 12 years and married for 6. We have a 2-year-old daughter, and I'm 9 weeks pregnant. We've struggled with getting pregnant both times, 4 years for our daughter and a year and a half for this pregnancy. We know that he does have a lower sperm count than average, but there was nothing else that had been noted as a barrier. This time, I had started a position as a social worker in an emergency department, and I absolutely love it. But I see things that no one else should see on bad days. I don't want intercourse, which I think makes sense, and I'm sometimes late from work, never more than 2 hours. My husband also left on a boys' vacation for a few days around the time I got pregnant. Something happened on this vacation, and his mental health has been horrible since. Not sleeping, easily agitated, and everyone else on the trip says that something went wrong, but we're not sure what happened. Now, I have a positive test. I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell him. The day after I tell him, he then accuses me of the baby not being his. I must have cheated instead of being at work late. I must have gone to a sperm bank because I wanted a child so badly. He wants a paternity test, and oh yeah, he tested our daughter because he now thinks she's not his either. I have never cheated, never wanted to. I don't know where this is coming from. I asked what he would do if the test came back that the children were both his, and he said, say I'm sorry and try to make it up to you. He has talked to multiple people about his concerns that I may have cheated, and they all tell him that I would never do that. Even his mother is telling him that he's out of line. I'm going to talk to my doc about the non-invasive blood test because I know that I have nothing to hide. We're also going to start couples therapy in a couple of weeks. He didn't participate last time we tried, but I have to at least try. But I don't know what to do. He tells me that he still loves me, but I don't believe him. Is this it? Is this the end of our relationship? Because I don't know how to come back from this now that I know he doesn't trust me at all. How do I handle this? All right, first things first, and this is not a like blanket statement. This is not always true, but I feel with things that I've seen in the past from like other people and stuff that when one partner is suddenly like really insistent that their other partner is cheating, that is sometimes a red flag for the fact that they've cheated and they're like projecting their guilt, or at least they feel so guilty that they want to tell themselves it's like, well, it's because they're cheating on me, or they want to believe you're cheating and so they'll feel less bad, like, well, I also cheated then, haha, we're even now. Like, and again, it's not necessarily saying that's the case here at all, or in many of these cases, but I feel like it's enough of a flag to warrant concern. And the fact that you're trying couples therapy again, but he refused to participate last time is just, I don't know, like how I wouldn't want to be with someone that didn't trust me and wasn't willing to go through that kind of stuff with me. Like that just feels like a real imbalance in a relationship that I personally find hard to, make add up in my head. So I don't know. If I was this person, I mean, I hope the couples therapy works out. I hope he can figure some things out, but just from the limited information I have, outlook not good. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for wearing a bikini even though my sister just had a baby? Basically, the title. I, 26 female, am on a family vacation, parents, sister Rachel 30, her son 1, her husband Adam 31, and my husband and our daughter 2. We are by the sea, and yesterday was the first time we'd be going to a beach club. My sister asked me not to wear a bikini or anything revealing because she said both she and Adam are not feeling the best about her postpartum body, and she really doesn't want to bring the topic up. I said I was sorry she feels that way, but I wasn't going to spend a day roasting under an umbrella, unable to swim or enjoy myself. I said tons of women would be in bikinis, so I didn't see why I made a difference. We went to the beach, and Rachel was a wreck all day and refused to come with us to the beach today. My parents are now saying I'm the a-hole for not wearing a cover-up that you can still swim in, and that if I keep wearing swimwear, it's going to ruin the trip. Am I the a-hole? I don't know exactly how I feel about this one, because on one hand, it is nice to, acknowledge the, feelings of people that you care about and family, friends, whatever, and try and do what you can at times to, make sure that they're more comfortable, even if it's a bit of a, concession on your part where, you're not getting everything you might have want. But I mean, at the same time, you're going to a beach, and if the swimwear you have, like, you want to get some sun, you want to be free and everything like that. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that you're an a-hole necessarily. Like, I think that you should have the right to kind of, wear what you want, because I never like the argument like, oh, where do you draw the line though? Like, what if in a year she doesn't feel great about her body, or 2 years, or ever, like, do you never get to wear one again? But it's not the best argument to make. I don't know. I don't think that it makes you an a-hole. If you did wear a cover-up, it might be kind of nice for her in this moment. Being postpartum can be difficult for folks, but at the same time, I feel like you shouldn't necessarily have to restrict what you wear in that situation. So I don't know. What do you folks think watching this? I'm always interested, especially, I can't personally know what being postpartum or wearing a bikini is like, so I'd love to hear from folks who might know more about that. Story 4. Today, I effed up by accidentally revealing my secret identity to my entire office. So, this actually happened earlier today, and I'm still reeling from the sheer embarrassment of it all. For context, I work in a pretty average office setting, but my colleagues and I like to spice things up with themed dress-up days every now and then. This week, we all agreed to come in dressed as our favorite superheroes. Naturally, I was super excited to participate. I've always been a huge fan of superheroes, and I have this awesome Batman costume I've been itching to wear ever since I got it for Halloween last year. So I woke up early, got dressed in my full bat regalia, and even went as far as doing the full Batman voice to complete the persona. I was ready to show up for work and save the day. As soon as I walked into the office, I could tell that something was off. People were staring at me with a mixture of confusion, amusement, and just a hint of terror. I figured they were just in awe of my Batman transformation and didn't think much of it. My manager approached me with a stifled laugh and asked, "Hey, Batman, did you happen to check your email this morning?" I replied, still in character, "Email? Batman has no need for such trivial matters." My manager then explained that there had been a last-minute email sent out last night postponing the dress-up day to next week due to an important client meeting scheduled for today. My face went beet red as I realized I was standing in the middle of the office dressed as Batman with zero context to justify it. To make matters worse, the important client arrived just in time to witness my embarrassment. They were surprisingly cool about it, even joking that they felt safer with Batman around. Still, I spent the rest of the day hiding in my cubicle, answering calls in my best Bruce Wayne voice, and praying for the sweet release of the end of the workday. Now I'm sitting at home in full Batman attire, contemplating how I'm going to show my face at the office on Monday. That's on them! That is on them. That is not on you. You didn't check your work email when you weren't at work? Yeah, that's right, mother effers. I didn't check my work email when I'm not at work because no one pays me to do that. People, I hate this kind of stuff. Give a call at the very least. Something that's harder to avoid, or a text. Something that pops up that you can't help but see. Don't send out work emails because no one wants to read work emails on their time off. And you're like, well, I love to keep up and read my work emails. Stop it! Give yourself a break. You need a work-life divide. You need to be able to have your time away from work. Shame on that job for doing that. I blame them. I blame them completely. And you know what? Look, you know what? Be proud as Batman. If your boss is just like, we're not doing the costumes today, you just be like, I ain't wearing a costume. This is how I dress from now on. I'm gonna keep these cubicles safe. I don't know. Story 5. My cousin is marrying a cheater, and I can't stop her. All the names are changed for privacy. My 32 female cousin, 34 female, Victoria, is a doctor and engaged to another doctor, Victor, 35 male. Victor and Victoria have been engaged for 2 years now and are finally getting married. The wedding is planned for this Saturday, religious, civil, and reception. They have a friend in common, another doctor, Emily, 34 female, who's going to be a bridesmaid. You can guess where I'm going. This past Friday, Victoria had her bachelorette, and we left the city to have a spa day and then returned to the city to go to a party at this fancy club. But we never made it to the club. We returned from the spa town to Emily's home before getting changed to go to a party. At some point, Victoria announced she was feeling sick and locked herself in the bathroom. My first thought, obviously, was that something she ate didn't sit well with her. Roughly an hour later, I managed to coax her out, and she asked me to take her home. I meant to be maid of honor, so taking care of her falls to me. I called Uber and took her to my place. There she told me everything. When we were getting dressed, she was in the kitchen and she saw a notification from her fiancé on Emily's phone. She left it to charge there. At first she thought it was a surprise planned for her, but then another message came in with a more romantic tone. And another, and another. That's when she got sick and ran to the bathroom. I stayed with her through Friday evening and most of Saturday. Saturday evening, I dropped her off at her place, and she made me promise I wouldn't say a word to anyone. I agreed because I thought she wanted to end things on her own terms. Sunday and Monday were silent, and everything seemed to be moving forward. Today, Tuesday, was our makeup trial, just the two of us, and she told me what happened with Victor. Victoria told him nothing and waited for him to fall asleep, unblocked his phone, and checked it in the bathroom. She found the conversation with Emily's messages and began to read back to the top. They've been together for 6 months, and she's pregnant. She's urging Victor not to marry Victoria and marry her instead. Victoria took a bunch of screenshots, but only showed me the one where Emily told Victor she was pregnant, and a few of the ones where she begs him not to marry my cousin. I begged her again to cancel everything and tell our family why, but she insisted there's going to be a wedding and that I should trust her. I'm scared for her. How do I stop her? Okay, poster, I think if she's like taking screenshots of this and everything and showing you all this stuff and then saying, oh, there's going to be a wedding and trust me, just trust her. Like, because it sounds like she's going to have those screenshots posted up somewhere and she is going to, very rightfully so, drag Victor and Emily, or Elizabeth, whatever her name was, it's a fake name, she's going to drag them through the mud a little bit because, holy crap, is that just crappy. And for her to be in the wedding party and for the husband to still be going through with this and having a kid and oh my gosh, just stop cheating. Just talk with your partner and end things and be a decent human being. Don't just slink around like this, you absolute creep. No, person who posted this, I'm going to believe that Victoria has a devious and well-deserved plan in motion, which may just be putting a projector up with those messages or whatever, but trust in Victoria. And if she does choose to still marry him, I don't know, maybe they didn't sign a prenup and she's going to take half his money. That would also be pretty funny, but believe in Victoria. I do. Story 6. Today I effed up when I offered my coworker a ride home. Last night I offered one of my coworkers a ride home after work. My coworker is an intern. An attractive intern, not gonna lie. However, I've never been tempted to cross that line because A, we work together, and B, the age gap. That being said, despite my professional and platonic relationship with my coworker, I still managed to end up in a temporary love triangle somehow. To pick up where I left off in my opening line, she accepted my offer to drop her off at her apartment when we were done working. On our way, she answered a phone call from her boyfriend. I had no idea what the boyfriend was saying, but based on my coworker's unexpectedly candid responses, it became obvious that her boyfriend was upset at her for posting a photo on social media of her drinking somewhere with random guys. My coworker explained that the random guys actually worked with her, and the photos were taken during our monthly office party. She apologized for not telling her boyfriend about it before posting the pictures, but she refused to apologize for enjoying drinks with colleagues. The conversation between my coworker and her boyfriend became more and more heated, especially when she started using words like insecure, immature, and jealous to respond to her boyfriend. I was doing my best to not look like I was eavesdropping, even though it was impossible not to. At some point during the argument, I low-key had to use made-up sign language to communicate to my coworker that I didn't know where I was going and that she was supposed to be navigating the way to her apartment. She was listening to her boyfriend talking at that moment, but she had no problem giving me verbal instructions at the same time. The boyfriend must have realized his girlfriend was in the car with a person of interest, because my coworker's next response to him was, "Nope, not in an Uber. One of the guys at work offered to drive me home." She listened and listened and listened, while shaking her head and rolling eyes before opening her mouth and suddenly saying, "Yes, he's one of the guys in the effing photo. In fact, he's the tall guy on the far left with the cute dimples." It was literally the first compliment I've gotten from someone of the opposite sex about my looks since my girlfriend broke up with me a couple of years ago. I was so caught off guard with the cute dimples line that I momentarily stopped focusing on the road and stared at my coworker with deer in the headlights eyes. My coworker hung up on her boyfriend and said I just missed the turnoff. What was supposed to be a 10-minute drive to my coworker's apartment turned into a 20-minute journey because of my lack of concentration. The boyfriend called again a few minutes later, and my coworker had to explain to him why she was still on the road and not at home yet. I didn't have to hear what my coworker's boyfriend was saying to know that he did not like the fact that his girlfriend was still with the cute dimples guy. My coworker eventually became so frustrated she switched to Danish mid-argument, her native language. I think she assumed I wouldn't understand what she was saying, but I did. My best friend is Scandinavian. When we got high together, he never spoke English, which kind of forced me to learn what he was talking about. My coworker, now speaking Danish to her boyfriend, apologized for upsetting him and said that he had no reason to feel threatened because she would never cheat on him with anyone, especially not with the guys at work. So there I was, still high on the cute dimples compliment, when I heard my coworker roast all the guys she worked with, including me. I guess she was doing it to convince her boyfriend that he was better than us and kind of boost his ego in the process because she really made us sound bad. She said I never blink my eyes and that I walk like I'm riding an invisible bicycle. On top of that, she said my voice was so husky it made her feel like she needed to clear her throat every time she heard me talk. The tension between my coworker and her boyfriend died down because she was laughing and talking dirty in Danish. When I finally made it to her apartment, I didn't even bother saying goodnight. All I did was smile and wave before leaving. I wish I never offered to drive her home. That was an uncomfortable experience. Monday's gonna be awkward at the office for me. Man, make it awkward for her. Like, when you drop her off, say goodbye to her in Danish. Like, really stretch it out, too. Be like, well, it was great driving you home, have a good night. Like, in Danish. And make sure she knows. Make her feel awkward. Because whether or not she thinks that, you understand or whatever, it's still a rude thing to do. Always assume that the people you're with may speak whatever language you're speaking, unless it's one that you made up on your own in secret. Like, just assume people might speak it, and so don't say crappy things about other people just to make your insecure loser boyfriend feel better about himself, because why? Why do you want that boyfriend to feel better about himself? He sounds like he needs to grow up a little bit. You're in pictures with other guys, and I'm upset, you're bad, blah, blah, blah. Like, get over it. Oh my gosh. Even if it isn't her coworkers, maybe she's just out with friends. Maybe she's just out at a club and had some drinks with some guys. Get over it. They're not pictures of her, like, giving them sloppy love kisses or whatever. I had to find a way around saying something terrible. I need to stop. Goodbye. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.